I, 26 female, have 2 paternal half-siblings, 10 male, 7 male, who live with our father, 51 male, who I'll call Todd, and his girlfriend, 32 female, who I'll call Beth, in a Southeast Asian country. Todd works as an English teacher earning about $16K per year, while Beth stays at home. Todd and his new family live fairly decently on his salary, but money is pretty tight because he has to support 3 people. I don't want my siblings to live in poverty, so I send them about $500 per month. I've also visited them several times since college to make sure they're doing okay. Recently, Todd called me and said that Beth wanted to put their kids in a private international school that costs $10K per year for the younger grades. When I pointed out that tuition would be more than his entire salary, $10K times 2 equals $20K, which is greater than $16K. Todd said that Beth wanted me to pay for it, since I am a rich American. With $160K annual income, I admit that I am rich, but I also have expenses like taxes, a mortgage, and a mother to financially support. I told Todd that I couldn't afford to spend 13% of my pre-tax income on private school and suggested that he look for a cheaper alternative. Todd went ballistic, claiming that I was selfish, that he supported me all throughout my childhood, that I don't have a family of my own, I'm not married and don't have kids, and that the least I could do was let my brothers have a chance at a better life. For reference, Todd's contribution to my childhood was about $200 per month of child support, which 2/3 of the time he didn't bother paying. Plus, I'm pretty sure that Todd had other kids in other U.S. states. Am I the a-hole for not paying for my half-siblings to be privately educated for $20K plus per year? Not the a-hole. Tell him you're already sending him $6,000 a year, and you're not sending another $20,000. It's your money. You don't have to tell him about your mortgage or mother. You could be buying $160,000 worth of gummy bears every year. It is his choice. He can continue to ask or yell, and you will then figure he doesn't want the $6,000 you already give him, or he can back off. His choice. Just because Beth doesn't want to get a job doesn't mean you have to be her sugar mama. Oh God, not the a-hole. If Beth wants her kids in an international private school, she can get a job and finance it herself. The audacity to demand that you do it because you're a rich American. If I were you, I'd stop sending the $500 a month you're giving them at the very least until they apologize. Not the a-hole. Unfortunately, your dad does not look at you as a son, but as a money tree. His wife is even worse. I'd be willing to bet that the money you send for your siblings isn't even used for them. I'm going to tell you to stop sending that money and instead start putting it into a savings account that your half-siblings can have when they are adults and can't have their money stolen by their miserable parents. If your dad and his wife cut ties with you over this, then you know for sure that it was never about a relationship and it was always about the money. I, 50 male, got the biggest heartbreak of my life when I found out that my high school sweetheart turned wife cheated on me and that her children, Jack, 21 male, and Jill, 21 female, weren't mine. They were 2 years old at the time, and I couldn't handle it, so I left. Because they were born within the marriage, I was legally the father and resented paying child support because it was basically the government rewarding my ex for her lies. I wanted to no contact with the children, but didn't begrudge my mom for still wanting a relationship. But I did stop talking to her for 6 months after she tried to trick me into reconciliation. I only let her back in my life after she swore to never betray me again, and with the perfect understanding that she would be dead to me if she ever tried again. Later on, I moved on and found a woman who was willing to accept me in spite of my baggage, and we had a wonderful marriage. I was heartbroken the day she died, and pressed on because I knew I had to be there for my children, Miranda, 16 female, and Joe, 14 male. I started a business and did fairly well for myself. I never talked about my ex-wife or her kids, so I developed this reputation of being a doting father and successful man. I never bragged about it, but rather it was something that was pushed on to me that I tried to downplay. After my ex's kids turned 18, I double-checked with my lawyers and they said that I was in the clear, didn't have to pay for any more support. My Jack and Jill reached out to me, wanting contact and requesting financial assistance as they had plans for college. I calmly told them no, and to never contact me again, and even had my lawyer send out a letter explaining that I was free of any more obligation to them. Jack and Jill were both upset and confronted me each on their own way. Jack went to my place of business, yelled about how I was a crappy father who abandoned his children, while Jill went on social media to badmouth me and my business and got many of her friends to write horrible reviews. Their actions hurt my reputation and cost me a lucrative contract, so I decided to file a lawsuit. Turns out, their mom led them to believe that I was their dad, and my own mother never thought about setting the record straight. We did DNA tests. First one was done during the divorce, verifying that I'm not their dad, and now I have a case against them. I've yet to receive any apology from Jack or Jill, but their mom is begging me to not continue with the lawsuit. I said I'd only do it if she paid me a specific amount, and when she said she couldn't afford it, I countered that she could if she sold her house. She said that she and her family would have no home, but I don't see how that's my problem since this was her mess to begin with. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your ex-wife and mother's lies ruined your business and cost you money. I feel sorry for Jack and Jill, but I question their character since their response to being told no was to try to destroy your life. Not the a-hole. You paid the child support all the years you had to, and they thank you by ruining everything you've built up. Sue the hell out of the children and teach them they don't get to expect money from someone just because they believe it's their dad. Everyone sucks here. Do you really think that going after these two and winning a lawsuit that will encumber them for years to come is the way you want to live your life? Is this the kind of story you want your children to hear about you? No matter how you present your case, your children are closer in age to Jack and Jill and will wonder about their father's vindictiveness. Think long and hard if you are willing to take revenge and spend thousands in lawsuits. Be aware that your desire for revenge can have a chilling effect on your business. What will your customers think about your actions in this pursuit? I'll try to keep things short. My ex-fiancé and I dated for 3 years, and we were engaged for 7 months. He left me for his best friend because they were in love and they wanted to try it out before running out of time. I'm bitter, yes, but it is what it is. There was no cheating or anything else. The thing is, we were getting ready to be together before the wedding, and we decided to move to a bigger place so he could have his office at home. While we were dating, we lived together for a year, but then decided to move separately because we weren't able to find a place near both our jobs, and he had to drive 45 minutes to 1 hour while I only did 15 minutes. We found one 5 months ago, and I, alone, paid for the deposit with the understanding that we were supposed to get it back since we were going to move and eventually buy something for us. Since we didn't, I decided to stay where I already live, since it's smaller, cheaper, and close to my job. So I lost my deposit, around $1,700. With no other way to get my money back, I sold the engagement ring he bought me and got $7,500. I said, duck it. I will keep the rest for what he did. But 3 days after I sold it, he contacted me, asking to meet so I could give him the ring and he could give me the deposit in full so I wouldn't lose any money. I said, no need, bro. I already sold it. And he got mad because the ring is worth more than the deposit. He's asking for the difference. And I said no, because it's mine, and I don't owe him crap, then hung up. I told my family about it, and sister said I was kind of crappy, because I'm obviously taking advantage and being spiteful since I still think he owes me for breaking my heart. And that to be true, I haven't lost any money with this breakup because he's compensated for everything we spent at the beginning, and the only thing we left unclear was the deposit, which he was going to pay in full when we only needed to go halvesies, so I should give the extra money I got. Not the a-hole. He broke the engagement. You get to keep the ring. If you broke it, he gets it back. Legally speaking, not necessarily. In a lot of places in the U.S., an engagement ring is recognized as a conditional gift, the condition being it becomes the recipient's with marriage. Based off a quick Google, Montana is an unconditional gift. In 5 states, it matters who called off the wedding, and the rest, it goes back to the giver. This isn't a legal advice sub, so let's look at it morally. If OP changed her mind about kids, or cheated, or some other relationship-shattering thing, should the ex be out for no longer wanting to get married? I'd say no. Why should it be different because the ex decided getting married would be wrong for a different reason? So, morally, I'd say OP owes the leftover money back. I'm going to disagree with the first comments I read and say you're the a-hole. I get it, you're mad, he broke it off, etc., etc. You say he was going to pay the entire deposit and he just wanted the ring back. In my opinion, that's beyond fair. You're not out any money, and there's no price that can be put on relationships. It is what it is, as you said. I don't think that justifies making a profit out of the deal at his expense. He did the right thing in calling off the engagement when his heart wasn't in it. Yes, it hurts, but better before than after getting married. You're the a-hole. It sucks that he left you for his best friend, and it also sucks that you lost out on the deposit originally. But legally, you can't do what you did. An engagement ring isn't a gift, it's a contract. The contract being this ring is yours with the fulfillment of marriage. If the marriage doesn't happen, the contract is null and the person who bought the ring gets it back. When the engagement ended, you should have given the ring back to him and discussed what was going to happen about the deposit and gotten that in writing. However, because you didn't give it back to him and sold it, you've opened yourself up for a lawsuit and possibly even a police record depending on your area and if your ex wants to press charges. He can now sue you for the amount that ring was worth, and if he can't prove how much the ring was worth, i.e. a receipt, then he can sue you for the amount that you received for the ring. Update. Well, my brother and I checked the laws, more like Googled it, and apparently it's right that I can be sued because the ring wasn't legally mine, yet. And I might have ducked off because I only got 7.5, while the ring might be worth more. X is a trust fund kid. Crap. Anyway, I'll contact a lawyer Monday morning and I'll stop spending the money I did get. So, I, 25 male, Have 5 sisters, 16, 15 triplets. Maya, 5. My parents never wanted a boy. Plus, after they had me, the doctors told my mom to wait for a few years before trying for more kids. So they always hated me for that. My maternal family, except my uncle, also shared her sentiments. My paternal family disowned my father. I was told from when I was little that it was because of me. But after I got in touch with them after I moved out, I found out it was because my father was married before my mother. He was married to a woman named Emily, who is now like a mother to me, for 2 years, and cheated on her the whole time during the marriage with my bio mother, before leaving her while she was pregnant with my half-brother, Dylan. When I was 9, my mother gave birth to my eldest younger sister. They were overjoyed, spoiling her, and later the triplets and Maya, while I wasn't spared a passing glance and always blamed for anything wrong that happens. Both the eldest and the triplets realized this and started doing things and blaming it on me. I was grounded and was sent to my room without dinner more times than I remember while I stayed with them. This horrible behavior was also extended to most other boys. It got worse after I came out as gay to my uncle when I was 15, and they somehow found out about it. I left home when I was 18, went low contact with the whole family except my uncle. I married my boyfriend of 7 years when I was 22, and later graduated from college. Both of us have great, high-paying jobs, and we are quite well off. So 6 months ago, I got a call from a social worker. My mother was arrested for D, and my father was being sued for fraud and for other reasons. The caseworker told me that my maternal family was deemed unfit to take care of my siblings, and that my paternal family refused to take them in after meeting them. So they asked me if I would take them all in. I talked to my uncle, and he told me that my first sister and the triplets are still the same, but Maya, who I never actually met, isn't like them. I decided to take in Maya and told this to the caseworker. They dropped off Maya a few weeks later, and she was an angel. After that, my family called me demanding me to pay a lawyer for them, and how I was an a-hole for not taking in my other 4 sisters. I refused. After that, my maternal family started calling me and complaining and yelling at me. My husband, uncle, Emily's family, and paternal family tell me that it was my choice and fully support me, but I want an outside opinion. So am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. The only thing you have done wrong is allowed your estranged extended family to call. Block them, apologize to your husband, and carry on. Get a lawyer and try to gain full permanent custody of your sister. Not the a-hole. There may come a time when your other sisters grow up enough to not be a-holes, but they've been raised their entire lives to scapegoat and be aggressive toward you. If they were younger, I might say with intensive therapy that the situation could be salvaged enough to keep them together. But at 15 and 16? Nope. Save the little one. She has a chance to know love and support and not be aggressive. Even then, she will likely need counseling. Also, mom and dad are experiencing natural consequences of their actions. Not your problem. Not the a-hole. No matter how well off you're doing, dropping everything to take on 4 teenage girls you barely know anymore is a huge ask. Foster care will not be easy or even guaranteed safe for them, but they have a few years max and then they'll be on their own too. You don't owe your parents lawyers, and your maternal family sounds lovely as duck. Nice little combo of being unfit and still having the stones to blame you. If it weren't for Maya's development and still maintaining connections to her parents and siblings, as toxic as they may be, I would have gone no contact and not looked back. My partner is Michael, and my stepson is Grant, 10 years. Tonight we had lasagna and salad for dinner. Grant has a portion of lasagna that was as small as his fist, which is the usual metric we use for his portion sizes, to make sure we aren't giving him more than he can handle. He took a few bites of salad and literally 2 bites of lasagna, and then said he was full. Like every kid, we're struggling with getting Grant to finish his plate, so over time we've tried a lot of different strategies to get him to eat, or to figure out why he doesn't want to. He's 10, not 2. So he's at an age where he is capable of articulating his feelings, wants, and needs. Sometimes if he doesn't like a food, he will say he is full because he doesn't want to eat the rest. So we asked him if he was really full, or if he didn't like the lasagna. Grant said he was full. We asked if he would like something else, like pizza rolls or PB&J. Again, he said he was full. He has a tendency to say he is full, then ask for junk food 20 minutes later. So when we took his unfinished plate away, we reminded him that since he didn't finish dinner, he doesn't get to have dessert or junk snacks. But if he is hungry later, we are happy to make him the food options we listed earlier, or have a healthier snack like a granola bar or veggies and dip. And if he finished a healthy snack, then we will consider some dessert type stuff. We don't want to deny him food if he is hungry, but also don't want him to load up on sugar closer to bedtime. We made sure he made eye contact and understood what we were telling him. It gets to be around 8:30 p.m., and Michael and Grant are in the living room playing Xbox together. So I slip away to have a couple bites of ice cream by myself in the kitchen. Well, Grant got up and came into the kitchen to grab a snack from his snack station. It has granola bars, little bags of chips, fruit snacks, etc. And he saw me. Immediately asked if he could have some ice cream, and when I reminded him of what we discussed earlier, he burst into tears. Now Michael is saying that I was inconsiderate of Grant's feelings by waving the ice cream in his face, and that I should have taken it into our bedroom so he wouldn't have seen it at all. If I was the a-hole in this, it would be because I ate dessert when Grant wasn't allowed to have any. But I wasn't blatant about it, and I am an adult who deserves to eat what I want in my house. Grant had a long list of options to choose if he was still hungry, and he understands that dessert is a reward. Not the a-hole. Seriously? Hide in your room to eat ice cream to spare the 10-year-old's feelings? On a rule agreed to by both you and your partner? He's out of his effing mind. Not the a-hole. Grant said he wasn't hungry and was aware that he wouldn't be allowed ice cream after barely touching his dinner. 10 is way too old to be crying over not being allowed ice cream, especially after not eating his dinner and insisting that he wasn't hungry. Also, you didn't wave the ice cream in his face. You were eating it in a different room. Not the a-hole. Your partner is ridiculous expecting you to eat in the bedroom. The kid is 10. He's old enough to know that just because someone has something doesn't mean he gets to have it too.